A mother of 3 young children living in New York City says her tiny apartment is good for her family and breeds creativity. She writes in the Washington Post, "I look around at our contemporaries basking in the glory of their first homes. When a friend FaceTimed me from her walk-in shoe closet, I imagined how many toddler beds I could fit in there." Joining us now is the author of that article, Batsheva Neuer, a contributing writer for the Washington Post. Thank you so much for joining us. Most families use the birth of a new child as a reason to escape the city for the suburbs. I know I did. Why did you decide to give up the sprawling backyard and multiple bedrooms, all the closet space?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here today, Lauren. When I started working full-time in the city, it was really a no-brainer for my husband and me. We both grew up in families that were very family-focused. Our mothers were extremely present. And so when the question became living in a suburb with more space but less time with my children versus living in a tiny space with more time with them, we knew what was right for us.
You lived in Israel for, I think, almost a decade. And did your time there influence your decision to place a greater priority on time with your family?
Well, I would say two things. I would say one, Israeli values are largely a reflection of Jewish values. And in Judaism, we place family at the center. And two, I would say that Israelis are people who unfortunately live dangerously. And when you're living on the edge, it does force you to focus on that which is meaningful in life. And I think we can all agree family would be on top.
You know, our religions aren't very different when it comes to that. You know, the Talmud says that he who is happy with his lot is rich, and Pope Francis often speaks to the need to place material goods above other things. Has living with less influenced your spiritual or religious life?
Yes, actually there's a great story about a prominent rabbi who was known as the Chafetz Chaim, and the story goes that a wealthy man came to his home and was surprised to see that there was no furniture. And the rabbi said to him, "Tell me, what did you bring with you to this town?" And he said, "Nothing, I'm just passing through." And the rabbi looked at him and said, "So am I." And so I think there really is something to be said for living minimalistically.
Okay, but what about the kids? Do they complain? They're pretty little, though. 4 months, 3, 4?
Yes, the kids actually don't complain. And several years ago, I saw an ad on a TV. It was a Jehovah's Witness ad, and it went like this: "How do you spell love to a child? Time." And I think that's really the key here. I think children care much more about the time that you invest in them rather than the square footage in their bedroom. So no, they don't complain at all.
Thank you so much for joining us. You're exactly right. That's what my kids want. They want time. Batsheva Neuer, contributing writer for the Washington Post. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.